For more Cavuto, tune into Fox Business at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't want to miss that as well.
But there is some new information now on what could be a major roadblock as Congress tries to negotiate this debt deal. Deep cuts in defense spending are now a real possibility, and that has some members of Congress concerned. They're worried those cuts would not only put our troops in danger, but the nation as a whole. Jennifer Griffin is live at the Pentagon with more on that. Jennifer?
Hi, John. Well, last week I spoke with the House Armed Services Chief, Congressman Buck McKeon, about what was being talked about then, the $850 billion in cuts to the defense budget over 10 years. That was part of the Gang of Six plan, part of Senator Harry Reid's plan. This bill is talking about $350 billion in the initial phase of cuts to defense over the next 10 years. Congressman McKeon carries in his pocket a card like Dennis Kucinich carries the Constitution. On that card, it shows how the military has essentially shrunk in the last 20 years. In 1990, according to McKeon, there were 76 Army brigades. Now there are 45 Army brigades. There were 546 Navy ships. Now there are 288 Navy ships. There were U.S. Air Force fighter squadrons 82, now 39. Strategic bombers, we had 360 in 1990. Now we have 154. We have the smallest Navy since 1916. The average age of the tanker refueling aircraft is 47 years old.
I understand. We have very serious financial needs. There is no question. And the taxpayer dollar is sacrosanct as far as I'm concerned. And I'm sure that we can find savings, but we've already cut now this 100 and the 78, and then if you look out on a projected out 10 years, in the last year and a half from the president's presented budget, we have cut $439 billion. That's as far as we're going.
That was McKeon last week. McKeon and other Republican members of the House Armed Services Committee are weighing whether to vote for this bill. They're meeting today to discuss, but you can certainly feel the anxiety among troops and the Joint Chiefs in this exchange with Admiral Mike Mullen over the weekend.
I honestly can't answer that question. In its simplest form, if our government defaults, where will it affect the service members the most? I actually don't know the answer. But as we move into a change like this or some other benefits, we're pretty focused on making sure we don't break faith with the people who are already in the military.
What's important to remember about this bill that's going to be voted on in Congress is that the $350 billion in defense cuts over the next 10 years, that could include other security agencies like Homeland Security. It may not all fall on the Pentagon's shoulders, but that's a gray area. And of course, there's this second phase. If they don't come up with a deal by November, by the Thanksgiving timeframe, that's when sequestration occurs, and the Defense Department will be hit even further with $500 billion more cuts over 10 years, again, if the Super Congress doesn't come up with the initial bill, with the initial agreement.
So if the Super Congress, can't come to some agreement, can't do its job, in effect, then the Pentagon becomes the whipping boy.
It does, along with certain domestic programs like Medicare. It will be evenly split, but yes, the Pentagon will be hit very badly.
Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon, thank you.
Well, we've touched on some of the big news of the day, and we have more breaking news out